You are on your living room couch or in a packed bar. The air is thick. You're breaking a cold sweat. Your breathing gets short and shallow. Your smartwatch buzzes, warning you that your heart rate just crossed 130 beats per minute, even though you are sitting completely still. Suddenly, a leather sphere crosses an imaginary line on the grass. The stadium on the screen roars, and you explode. You scream until your throat tears, jump up, spill your drink, and hug the sweaty stranger next to you, crying as if they were a blood brother you haven't seen in decades.
Traditional medicine knows this isn't just a passing emotion. It is a violent physiological event. A classic and terrifying study published in the New England Journal of Medicine, which analyzed the population of Munich during the 2006 World Cup, revealed what really happens behind the scenes of your body. Cardiologists discovered that on days the national team played, hospital emergencies for heart attacks and acute arrhythmias spiked by a staggering 2.6 times. For men, the risk was more than 3 times higher. Your cardiovascular system enters such an extreme state of alert that it simulates a real physical threat to your life.
The cold logic of modern society will tell you that you are having a completely irrational spike of stress over a bunch of athletes chasing a ball on TV.
But evolutionary biology sees something infinitely deeper. You are not going crazy. You are running a flawless survival software forged 300,000 years ago. To your prefrontal cortex, it's just a game. But to your amygdala and your primitive brain, you are not watching a sport. You are in the middle of a hunt.
To understand why your body chemistry reacts so violently to a 2D image, we need to look at a microscopic gear inside your head. Specifically, a revolutionary discovery made in the 1990s by neuroscientists at the University of Parma, Italy: mirror neurons. When you see your team striker sprint down the field, past the defender, and wind up for a shot, your eyes capture the data and send it to your brain. But the biological magic happens in that exact millisecond. Your mirror neurons fire in the exact same electrical pattern as the neurons of the player physically running on the stadium grass. To your most primitive neural network, there is no separation between the player sweating on the field and you sitting on the couch with a remote control in your hand. Your motor cortex is invisibly simulating everything: the biomechanics of the sprint, the weight of the pass, the impact of the shot. This is exactly why your leg twitches involuntarily when a player kicks the ball on the screen. You are not just watching, you are playing. In evolutionary biology, this is not a bug. It is the perfect survival adaptation. Thousands of years ago, when our ancestors hunted large predators in packs, absolute silence was vital. You couldn't shout strategies across the savanna. Evolution gave us mirror neurons so we could anticipate our pack's intentions in fractions of a second just by reading body language. This lethal, silent synchronization meant securing food. Failing it meant the death of the entire tribe. When those 11 players wear the same colors and move in a synchronized block to invade enemy territory, your DNA doesn't recognize the modern concept of soccer. It recognizes your pack executing a hunting maneuver, and it chemically prepares your body for the final kill. But if victory is the glory of the hunt, how does biology explain the irrational pain of defeat? Why do you cry uncontrollably or feel actual grief when your team is knocked out? For 99% of human history, being exiled or not belonging to a tribe wasn't just a lonely phase. It was a guaranteed death sentence. You needed your people to keep from being eaten in the dark. Your brain evolved to fuse your survival instinct with your group's status. If the pack fails, you die. This is where the brutal chemistry of tribalism comes in. That jersey you religiously wear every 4 years isn't made of polyester. To your limbic system, it is our modern war paint. It creates an instant visual divide in your brain between the in-group, us, and the out-group, them. Neuroscience explains what happens when you cross paths with strangers wearing that same paint on the street. Your brain is flooded with a hormone called oxytocin. It is often romanticized as the hormone of love and hugs, but oxytocin has a dark, defensive side. It drastically increases blind trust and empathy inside your group, while simultaneously fueling competitive hostility toward the rival tribe. Seen through the lens of anthropology, the World Cup is not a sports tournament. It is what we call a ritualistic war, a flat, bounded field where humanity's most dangerous instinct for territorial dominance is unleashed, but within artificial rules, simulating combat without real casualties. Our modern world is safe, sanitized, and packed with technology, but structurally, it is the loneliest environment our species has ever inhabited. We suffer from a silent epidemic of anxiety because our DNA spends its entire existence missing the pack. When the World Cup begins, the planet stops because it is the only time our primitive brain finally breathes a sigh of relief. Suddenly, the world makes sense again. You have a clear tribe, a common mission. The TV screen becomes the new digital campfire, and billions of us sit around it, side by side, to celebrate the only thing that has ever mattered to our DNA, not being alone in the dark.